definitely had to sacrifice things, and I've definitely given up a lot of things that other kids have. But I honestly don't regret a thing. If I were to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same, and I wouldn't change anything. So if you go back, 4.5 years ago, I was pretty much a normal kid. I went to school every day. I went home and I did homework and I played video games. I liked learning and I enjoyed doing that, but there was nothing I really cared about. And all of that kind of changed the night that my mom rented An Inconvenient Truth and convinced me to watch it. I was just completely blown away. I just kind of felt that I wanted to do something about, this huge issue, but I just kind of had no idea what it was that I could do.
We are the ones who will be affected most by all of the disasters. So we need to be the ones standing up and leading the movement.
I began speaking to people at schools and conferences. I started a nonprofit organization called Kids vs. Global Warming. And when I was 13, I did this project called SLAP, which stands for Sea Level Awareness Project. It's a fact that if we keep burning fossil fuels at the rate we are now, we would be underwater right here. I also wrote a Declaration of Independence from fossil fuels, and the big campaign starting when I was 16 has been the I Matter March.
One voice, our people, our choice. One planet, one voice, our people, our choice.
I've just kind of been realizing lately that for the first few years of doing this work, there just seemed like there was something missing. The actual urgency of the issue was just kind of not real to me. That began to change when I had the amazing opportunity to travel to Iceland. I actually got to go and walk on a glacier. It was really one of the most powerful experiences of my life. That glacier that I walked on, it's going to be completely melted in less than 100 years if we don't take action on climate change now. And for the first time in my life, I could feel what's at stake if we continue living the way that we do now. I made a vow right then that I would not let that happen. I think a lot of times, young people aren't really heard. They're not really considered as equal members of society that could contribute just as much as anyone else, and I think that that's wrong. I've read books, I've talked to scientists, I've spent 4 years thinking about this, and I believe that we still have a chance to avoid the worst effects of this problem. If we want to solve climate change, we need to transition to a mindset of sustainability. I believe that our leaders have it in them. We're asking the courts to stand up and do the brave thing on behalf of their children and grandchildren, our entire generation, because our government has legal responsibility to protect the atmosphere for future generations. It's really going to take a brave judge who is able to stand up and make a decision on behalf of something bigger than just themselves, and make a decision on behalf of their children and grandchildren's generation and generations to come, because that's who's at stake. And this is not about politics or money. This is not about what's most convenient at the time. This is about the survival of my generation. It's about the survival of your children and grandchildren's generation. It's about preserving this for every generation to come. My name is Alec Lures. I play the guitar and a bunch of other instruments. I really would love to study philosophy, psychology, sociology, kind of things, like study of how cultures and how minds and how people think. I'm 17 years old and I'm a climate change activist.